as you know, as public universities in Mexico, some of you might remember that years ago, to apply for our universities, we used to fill up stadiums with applicants to make the exam inside a stadium because, think about it, at the Polytechnic, we apply an exam for admission to more than 100,000 students. So it's enough to fill up, or more to fill up probably the largest stadium in Mexico. We can do that. We changed that 2 years ago. Last year, I thought it would be a good idea to swap towards an admission that could be online. We made that change. We took a huge risk to do that, but then we're not asking the students to come and deliver their documents personally to our university, and it was a way to go deeper into our society, because it's very difficult for a student from Chiapas, from Baja California, especially from the ones that we have at Polytechnic, to afford to buy a ticket on a bus that is around 2,000 pesos to come to Mexico, 2,000 pesos to go back, and then who's paying for the stay there. So virtually, they don't have to come here. We use artificial intelligence for our exam, so we can see the applicant in real time. So when they're taking a phone or listening to an answer, or if it's not the same face, we detect it. We could examine around 100,000 people last year, and it was a big success. Only 800 exams blocked because of attempts to cheat, let's call it that way. And we managed to do it. I had a conversation with a friend of mine who is a director of a regional technological institution. He was asking me how you did that. We tried to do this with 5,000 students, and the system collapsed. So what we did is we used servers from 5 servers around the world, because when there is a detection of increased movement in a server, it just drops until somebody finds out what's going on there. So if it was falling, then we could support 100,000 examinations last year, and the same number this year. And we had a surprise last year. There is a student called Kim. She is from South Korea, and through a friend, she realized, or she heard that she could apply to study engineering in Mexico in the Polytechnic. So she did her exam from South Korea, and she is now one of our students in engineering. And I met with her, and I asked her why. I was curious. No, I was not criticizing. I was curious to know, why are you coming to Mexico to study being in South Korea? And she told me it's very easy. I already finished one studies in graphic design, but I wanted to do engineering. It's easier for me to apply for a job in a company from South Korea that is based in Mexico than for me to get a job in South Korea in any of the companies, especially because now I'm perfecting my Spanish and getting to know the culture, so I'm an excellent candidate for any of the South Korean companies that are here. That was one case, and I loved sometimes to talk about this case, but we didn't get international students at Polytechnic for that reason, because no one from South Korea is going to come 1 week to deliver the documents, go back, and then come back to take the exam. So this year, we continued with this examination. We completed it, and we had 400 applicants from around the world. We'll see whether they pass the exam, but the landscape, I am sure, at Polytechnic is going to change. Having people from other countries is going to be enriching for our students. So that's why I'm supporting these ideas and this framework that we have to examine hundreds of thousands of students. Now we're thinking of promoting it to other universities to go in that way, and we are able at Polytechnic to offer that service. So if there is any university that wants to go into that way, we can provide the service as a Polytechnic to your institution. So we'll be happy to do that, and we can discuss that with the people from the university that are joining me.